check, check, check. Welcome everybody in live to Fifth Third Arena for some 11 a.m. volleyball action. Brought to you courtesy of Bearcast Media. My name is Justin Dietrich. I'm joined here by Jack Rich, and we are live. You can't hear me, can you? No, you can't. I figured. Something's wrong with my mic. Well, we'll go back if we need to. Test.
I can hear you.
I can hear me now, too. I'm going to turn me down a little bit. Oh, I just turned me up accidentally. Can you turn me down? Turn me down. No, that's you. That's you. So this is how much you can hear.
Yeah. All right, I'm good now.
I think we're good now.
Yep.
All right, fix the technical difficulties, and it seems like now both of our mics are working. As we were saying, we're live from Fifth Third Arena for some 11 a.m. volleyball action on the beautiful University of Cincinnati campus. My name is Justin Dietrich. I'm joined by Jack Ritchie and the Bearcats host the West Virginia Mountaineers. You're going to want to grab your morning cups of coffee or whatever gets you going in the mornings, because we're not used to these early morning tip-offs. 11 a.m., Jack, what's up with that?
11 a.m., it is early, but these cats seem like they're ready to play. Here on Education Day, plenty of the youth in the building for this early morning matchup between the Mountaineers and the Bearcats.
Almost completely filled the lower bowl here with, I'm assuming, students from different schools, classrooms on little field trips to Fifth Third Arena Day to watch the Bearcats take on West Virginia. We'll talk about a little bit about Cincinnati. They're coming in this one 12-9, 3-7 in the conference. That sits them in 10th place. 4-3 record at home, but they've dropped their last 3 at home. They're going to want to get back in that win column today for the West Virginia Mountaineers. 8-14, 2-9 in the conference. They're on a 3-game total losing streak, 4-7 away. They haven't gotten a win since October 23rd, and they're tied for 13th in the Big 12 right now. So 2 teams in the bottom half, but the records of 8-14 and 12-9 are very different. The Bearcats are definitely a better team on paper coming into today.
I was broadcasting their game against Texas Tech just last week, where the Bearcats fell in 5 sets, but this Cincinnati team has played so many close games all the way through the season, and today is a very important one for sure. Some keys to the game for both of these teams. For Cincinnati, you've got to use your length and depth to your advantage. They have a lot of good offensive weapons that they can use against this Mountaineers defense, and also you have to minimize service errors throughout the match. This team can get down early with service errors, and that is one thing you definitely do not want to do. It for the Mountaineers, you want to spread out this Cincy back line. Obviously 2 freshmen back there consistently most of the year with Lily Gillespie and Faith Frame, and also get the ball to your trio of contributors of Cassidy Tan, Haley Green, and Maddie McGath, the 3 leaders in the kill category for West Virginia.
Great analysis there, Jack. We were back after a little short break for the national anthem. Of course, you mentioned Bearcats coming in this one, got to use their length to their advantage, their depth to their advantage. This is a team with a lot of good players. We know it, they know it, West Virginia knows it. How is West Virginia going to be able to respond to stop some of these playmakers? Well, in the past, they haven't been able to. Cincinnati is 9-1 all-time against West Virginia, 4-0 home all-time against them. Their only loss came in 2023 in Morgantown. It was their only all-time loss just last season. And they played them earlier this season in Morgantown, West Virginia as well, and they won 3-0. So the Bearcats holding that momentum and holding that series momentum over West Virginia. They're going to want to keep that today.
And this one is especially important. Obviously, Cincinnati have lost 6 of their last 7 matches coming into this one against West Virginia. And it's a big one as they're right there in the middle of the pack of the conference, sitting right in the middle of these teams. And for Cincinnati, you have to start using some of your veterans like Carly Glendenning. She has had over 34 kills in just the last 2 matches against UCF and Texas Tech.
As they're announcing the starters on the floor for the Bearcats, it's going to be Sydney Nolan, Caitlin Leffler, Faith Frame, Fallon Stewart, Abby Walker, Julie Whittakin, and Zeta Washington. A solid group for the Bearcats. Of course, you mentioned the veterans on this team. Carly Glendenning, earlier this season against West Virginia, she had 15 kills, making her presence known. She had a streak earlier this season of about 9 or 10 games in a row where she had double-digit kills in all of those games. I mean, she's just been ridiculous this season, the most improved Bearcat by far, and she's the team leader in 4 major statistical categories. I mean, she's ridiculous.
Impressive stuff all around, and you're just going to have to use her if you want to try to win. Obviously, you said earlier, the Cincinnati team beat them in 3 sets earlier in Morgantown. And for a game in front of a pretty home crowd, that's going to be a very big contributing factor.
I will say, I think this introduction video is new. I don't think this was here the last time that I called a game. It's a lot louder, of course. You mentioned Education Day filled with students here, and they are all screaming and hyped for the Bearcats. A little bit intimidating for the Mountaineers, maybe, to have a bunch of 5 to 12-year-old children yelling at you the whole day?
I would say for sure. I mean, it's even hard to hear up here.
I can't hear myself through the headset.
It's pretty loud. So for this Cincinnati team, they got to use the energy from the crowd. They got to come out first. Getting this first set is so important for the rest of this match. If you get that first one, all the momentum's going to carry on to the following sets.
Of course, mentioning again, they won 3 sets to none earlier this season against the Mountaineers. Potential to do that again. Both teams out on the floor. We mentioned who is on the floor for the Bearcats. For West Virginia, it's going to be Sydney Reed, Cassidy Tanton, Eiley Painter, Lauren Dello, Lila Ibrahim, Haley Green, and Maddie McGath.
It's some of these Mountaineers, as I said earlier, into some of my keys to the game, they have a couple girls that can get it down for some serious kills. And for this pretty interesting Cincinnati lineup, they've been kind of doing this rotation all year where they have a couple freshmen, but also a couple juniors and seniors in there. So it's an interesting mix of players. Abby Walker will check out right there, and we're about to get ready to go.
The Bearcats will be the first ones to serve on the, well, you can't really see from our side, it's the right side of the court. Julia Whittakin will be the first server for Cincinnati. The 5'8" senior from Cincinnati, the hometown. Faith Frame is your libero. Zeta Washington, Fallon Stewart, and Sydney Nolan in the front line. And of course, Caitlin Leffler, the setter, who's been incredible this year. Team leader in assists. 653 is just a ridiculous number.
Crazy. But for this Cincinnati team, they have most of their big contributors there on that front line. And it seems like Cincinnati has that height advantage up front. So let's see if they can use that to get some early points as this crowd starts to get on their feet.
Yeah, this might be louder than some of the basketball games right here. I don't know what has all these children so hyped, but Bearcats volleyball is going to be starting. Whistle blows, and Whittakin will get ready to serve. She sends this one over. Tapped up by West Virginia, play at the net. A little bit of a mistake, and the Mountaineers aren't able to return it. Almost hits the referee judge on the net. First point is the Bearcats.
Great start for Cincinnati. Good serve right there to start off the game, and it comes out to an easy ace.
1-0 Bearcats. Whittakin sends the second one into the net, tied at 1.
Service errors, I talked about it pregame, just can't happen. Obviously, second serve of the game, but you got to minimize those early here against this West Virginia team.
We'll see Maddie McGath, the sophomore for West Virginia, serve. Sends this one over, tapped up by Whittakin. Leffler's going to set Washington in the middle and down in front of McGath. Bearcat point.
Washington making her presence known, middle of the floor. She's been getting on fire the last couple of matches for Cincinnati. Good to see a nice kill there.
Faith Frame will serve for the Bearcats. They lead 2-1 early in this match. Tapped up high by the Mountaineers. Play at the net, and it's going to be knocked down by Walker.
Nice defense by Walker. The height advantage already seen pretty evident already. 3-1 Cincinnati. They're starting to pull away just a little bit here at the beginning of the first set.
Frame with her second serve. Over, tapped up by Painter. The set on the opposite side is going to be tapped in the net, kept up by Whittakin. Leffler's going to have an opportunity. Set, Sydney Nolan. Good job by Painter to keep it up, and a diving Cassidy Tansen can't get there in time. That was way out of bounds towards the West Virginia bench, but a good effort.
Nice kill on the far sideline. Again, this crowd, though, is loving it early from the Cats, already a 3-point lead.
Talking about potential intimidation for West Virginia, we might be saying that coming to fruition. They are making some mistakes returning these. This time they'll have an opportunity, and that one is inbounds on the sideline. Haley Green.
Yeah, big kill there. Cuts the lead in half, pretty much gives West Virginia the serve as well. Big time kill there, and a great setup by the setter.
Haley Green, second on the West Virginia in kills coming in this matchup with 221. Serving is going to be Lauren Dello. Tapped up by Whittakin. Leffler backs at the Nolan, blocked at the net, kept alive by Frame and the Bearcats. Cross-court set to Fallon Stewart. She's blocked at the net. Whittakin on the ground to keep it up, and a free ball over for the Mountaineers. Set up, tapped in the net, and Whittakin keeps it in. Stewart crossing in the middle, down outside the reach of Sydney Reed. Bearcats lead 5-2.
Great team defense. We saw it 3 times in a row where they saved it. Even when it went off the net, Faith Frame just put it over conservatively, but Sydney Nolan finishing it off the job.
Sydney Nolan will serve for Cincinnati. Tapped up. Back set right at Julie Whittakin. Good hit by Ibrahim. Frame's gonna, oh my. That was a ridiculous set by Faith Frame. Behind her head high and right at the net for Stewart. A little bit of a misread on that one. Stewart hit it into the net.
Yeah, Stewart tried to get over, like you said. Great setup there by another freshman, Faith Frame. Puts it right in front of Stewart to possibly get the point, but that one just can't get over the net.
5-3, Bearcats lead. Quincy Coyle is going to serve for the Mountaineers. Controlled by Whittakin. Leffler cross-court set to Stewart. This time blocked down at the net on the West Virginia side. Bearcat point, 6-3.
Fallon Stewart gets revenge from the last point. She puts that one down right in front of that defensive line for West Virginia, and they'll keep that lead at 3 points.
So Lily Gillespie checks into the game, and she will serve for the Bearcats. She's been playing a lot more recently. 56 sets played on the season. Tap that one, controlled by the Mountaineers, and a good job by Gillespie to keep up the return, and Leffler stuffed at the net. Little bit of a miscue there on the Bearcat return. The ball just wasn't going to the spots they wanted, and Leffler had to try to make a play.
Yeah, great dig though by Gillespie. Her and Faith Frame, the 2 freshmen, have combined for 54 digs in the last 2 matches.
Sydney Reed, West Virginia's libero, is going to serve it over. 6-4, Cincinnati still leading. Tapped up by Frame. Gillespie is going to set up Nolan, and that one off the hands of Lauren Bodley and on the ground. No West Virginia Mountaineer there to corral the mistake.
Cincinnati's offense doing a good job at keeping that lead at about 2 or 3 points every single time West Virginia punches. Cincinnati punches right back.
Abby Walker is going to serve, sends it over. Tapped up and controlled. Cassidy Tanton sends it down out of the reach of Gillespie.
Big kill there. Nothing really the Cincinnati backline can do whenever there's no defensive presence in front to try to maybe block that kill opportunity, but Tan puts it down. Big time kill.
Painter is going to serve for the Mountaineers at 7-5 early in set 1, and that one too strong off the back line.
Good read by Faith Frame there, just letting that one go out of play. Really close to that back boundary line. but it'll be service there.
Leffler's going to serve for the Bearcats. One of the veterans on this team. Sends that one high. Good serve controlled by Reed. Going to be returned by McGath right to Gillespie. Frame behind her head, set up, and it went over. Bearcats out of position, and that one's knocked to the ground by Lauren Dello.
Tough set by Faith Frame. Again, once again, over her head, trying to get it right in front of the net, but that one was just set up on a platter for West Virginia to get the point.
You had 3 Bearcats at the front line that time. All Dello had to do was just hit it over them. Tanton's going to serve for the Mountaineers. Gillespie taps it up and a mishandle on it as it goes way into the front row. Frame tried to run for it. She couldn't get there in time.
Getting the feeling that this set could come down to the mistakes. It's already a 1-point game, not even halfway through yet, but both teams are going back and forth.
Tanton, second serve in a row. Barely over the net. Frame gets on the ground to tap it up. Leffler high to Nolan, who's blocked down on the West Virginia side. Bearcat point.
Cindy Nolan, nice kill there here on our near sideline, coming from Faith Frame, high arcing set. And now Found Stewart will check back in for Gillespie, freshman on freshman substitution there.
Whittakin back to serve for the Bearcats. Ballooning serve, going to be tapped up by Tanton, and McGath powers that one to the back left corner. Mountaineers cut it to just 1, 9-8 Bearcat lead.
West Virginia attackers have done a good job at getting it past the Cincinnati defense so far. McGath as well as Tanton have been putting it down so far for the Mountaineers. And it is back to a 1-point game, 9-8 Cincinnati.
It would have been McGath to serve. She's going to sub out for Kristen McBride, the senior from Cincinnati, Ohio. She'll serve it. Frame gets it alive. Leffler backs it to Nolan, high and tapped up by Tanton. It's going to be on the opposite side. Haley Green sends over a free ball. Leffler to Nolan for a second time, and that one's good on the ground.
Saw Cindy Nolan put it down on the near sideline that time, across on the opposite side, but no one is there to corral Cindy Nolan at 6'4". She just puts it right past the West Virginia defensive front.
Faith Frame's going to send it over. On the ground, Painter had to scoop that one up, and it just made for a tough ball for the Mountaineers to return, and they weren't able to do it.
Nice ace by Faith Frame. Good serve right there in the middle, but like you said, maybe a little miscommunication, mishit right there. But now the Bearcats extend their lead to 3.
11-8, Frame still back to their serve. They're wiping up a spot on the court. Now they'll run off, and Frame will send that one over. Painter this time taps it up high. Blocked to the net and over out of bounds. That was off the hands of Layla Ibrahim and a right into Abby Walker's hands. So West Virginia point.
Good job at getting a touch on it, but just went out of play, and that's going to be a nice point.
Lauren Dello back to serve for West Virginia. It's been back and forth the whole set. See if someone can get a run going. Leffler backs it to Walker in the middle, perfectly executed. Ibrahim had no chance to return that one.
Cincinnati's offense in the middle of the floor so far this morning has been good. We saw Zeta Washington put one down, and Abby Walker, second time in the middle of the floor, getting a point.
Nolan serves, tapped up by Tanton. The set to Green is blocked in the net and out of bounds off the Bearcats' hands.
Like you were saying, though, this whole set, it's been back and forth, 12-10 right now. But this first set's so important, not only for your momentum as a team, but just getting that first one. Obviously, West Virginia lost 0-3 to these Cats just a couple weeks ago.
12-10, Cincinnati still leads. Sent over by Quincy Coyle. Going to be returned. The Leffler set to Walker, lightly tapped over, easily controlled by the Mountaineers. Sydney Nolan taps up a return, and that one sent over by Stewart. Out of bounds, too strong.
Thought it was a point for a second, but I don't think it got tipped. I think Cincinnati was looking for the tip, but it just goes out of play.
cut down to 1. The Mountaineers with a chance to tie it as Coyle will send it back over. Frame taps that one up easily. Leffler runs to set Stewart, blocked down at the net, and on the Mountaineers side, Bearcat point.
Found Stewart's been doing a good job at stepping in for Glendenning when she's been on the bench. That's her second kill of the day already. Just putting it right past the West Virginia defense, right at their feet.
Speaking of Carly Glendenning, she checks in for the first time today as it's a tight set one. Gillespie sends it over. Haley Green's get a chance to return, and that one just miscommunication, miscue off of the side of Abby Walker's hands. Glendenning just couldn't get there in time. A tough ball to read if you're the Bearcats.
Kind of a wonky dig by West Virginia, but they got it over, and then, like you said, miscommunication by the Bearcats led to the West Virginia point. Now they have a chance to tie this one up.
Sydney Reed serves it. Net grazer. Gillespie has trouble controlling it out of bounds, and it's all tied up at 13.
Nice ace there by West Virginia and Reed, but Cincinnati now tied up. That lead has been dwindling all set, and now the first chance for West Virginia to take their first lead.
Sydney Reed again, a net grazer. This time Gillespie has a handle on it. Backs that to Walker down in the middle of the court. No chance for the Mountaineers.
Nice kill, moving to her right, using that momentum right on the outside of the net, but she puts it right in front of West Virginia's defense. No chance.
Cincinnati takes the lead back as Abby Walker serves. Ibrahim is going to set McGath, and she misreads the set and taps it into the net. Timeout. Here in fifth thirds, the Bearcats lead 15-13 over West Virginia, and what's been a tight back and forth set one, and no one's really been able to get a lead or go on a run at all.
Back and forth, it's really been like that all set long. If it's either, it hasn't been many service errors really. There's been a couple mistakes by both teams, but it's mainly been the offense by both teams getting the points when they need it. West Virginia tied it up, but obviously Cincinnati takes a 2-point lead now. But for Cincinnati, getting this first set so important. You got a 2-point lead in this break. You got to be saying, you got to get the ball to our veterans, try to go on a run here and get some points.
Yeah, each team with just one service error. The Bearcats with 3 attacking errors. West Virginia with only 1. The Bearcats have a much higher hitting percentage, about .50 more. No blocks yet for Cincinnati, which is a little bit odd. The team, of course, was Zeta Washington who started in the match, and Abby Walker was the team leader in blocks. They're typically very aggressive at the net for those blocks, and they haven't gotten any yet in this set one.
Usually a very defensive front that's pretty successful most of the season, but like you said, kind of interesting, no blocks yet, and that's really been the reason why West Virginia's been hanging on in this first set. They haven't really had that much of a defensive presence to stop this Mountaineers offense, and let's see if they can adjust in the second half of this first set.
West Virginia's going to come back out on the court, and shortly followed by the Bearcats. Of course, Walker is still back there and ready to serve. The Cincinnati Bearcat mascot has found his way onto the court, of course, hyping up the Education Day field trip students. As Walker sends it over, tapped up by Tanton. Ibrahim sets McGath in the middle, got the live. Leffler is going to set Nolan behind her, and a diving Coyle can't get there in time. Kill for Nolan, and the Bearcats jump out to a little bit bigger of a lead, 16-13. Walker sends it over again, and that time into the net.
I was going to say, that first point coming out of the timeout, just like what I was saying, not really a block, but it got tipped up in the air that prevented West Virginia from getting the point. And Silly Nolan, really from almost halfway back from the net, using that big frame to put it over, but then a service error by Abby Walker makes it 16-14.
Mistakes like that can just kill your momentum, and a really good serve there by Ailey Painter as it just barely made it over. I thought that was going to hit the net and go down.
I don't think you could put a better serve over the net right there by the freshman libero. Beautiful play right there.
Painter again, this time balloons over the net a little bit higher. Middle set by Leffler to Washington. off the hands of McGath and out of bounds. Cincinnati takes it back.
Washington making her presence known in the middle of the floor. She had 1 kill early, but now her second of the day, getting back in on the action, 17-15.
Leffler back to serve. Sends that one over. Cross-court set over to Tanton, lightly tapped over. Leffler back sets to Nolan, and a kill right in front of Sydney Reed.
How about Sydney Nolan in this first set? I mean, she has 4 kills of her own now on 6 attempts, and Cincinnati's keeping that 3-point lead, only need 7 to claim the first set.
McGath sends that one right to frame. Returned it up high, almost hit the scoreboard over, and McGath tried to send it right back and made a mistake on that one. Timeout, West Virginia, as the crowd is getting into it, supporting the Bearcats as they lead 19-15. A little bit deeper into set 1, but still not an insurmountable or crazy lead for the Bearcats.
What a dig by Faith Frame on that last point that set up for the block for Carly Glendenning. And the freshman and the junior, 2 of the leaders of this team, making a big play. Now the Cats lead by 4 points, and now another timeout by West Virginia. It seems like all the momentum has started to sway in the Bearcats' favor.
Looks like there's a pop quiz going on the screen. You want to play it, Jack?
Yeah, I do want to play.
Well, we'll take a look at this, see what the questions are. How many glasses of water should you drink
8.
a day? 1, 4, 8, or 50?
8.
You're going with 8? I'll defer to this to you. I'll go with 8. 50 might kill you. I feel like the 50's ridiculous.
I think Chase over here said 50. It wouldn't surprise me.
BW3's, he drank 8 cups of water in about an hour. For him, it really might be 50. I'm not going to lie.
Might be.
I think 8. Which one of these is a protein? Strawberry bread, carrot, or chicken? Come on, man. Come on. I was going to say this is like 3rd grade stuff, and then I remembered it's education day, and it might actually be 3rd grade stuff.
I didn't see an answer for the water there.
No, they didn't even give an answer.
I'm pretty sure it was 8, though. I'm pretty sure. 8
would make a lot more sense than 50, I think. I guess it depends on how big the cups of water are, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Either way, they didn't tell us the answer, but what we do know is Leffler's back to serve, and the Bearcats lead 19-15. Balloons that one over, tapped up. Ibrahim sets Tanton, going to be kept alive by a diving Leffler, and Glendenning sends over a free ball. And mishandling the return. Reed and Tanton both win for it, and that caused it to go over the net, and the Bearcats was able to lightly tap it down. That was Zeta Washington.
Zeta Washington clearing up the dirty work in her 3rd kill of the day. Cats lead it by 5.
Leffler sends the one over again. Coyle taps it up, play at the net. Washington and Ibrahim. Bearcats return it. Tapped down by Glendenning on the West Virginia side. They're going to have to send it over and into the net. Mountaineers got a little bit too far under, and it's 21-15 now. Cincinnati starting to pull away at the end of the set. No longer back and forth and back and forth. The Bearcats have taken it. Sydney Reed's going to control in the middle to Tanton and just misreads it into the net.
And the mistakes are starting to build up now for West Virginia. Now they're in a 7-point hole, where Cincy just needs 3 more to claim this first set. If you're West Virginia, got to go on a run sooner rather than later.
I mean, just about 10 points ago, the hit percentages were only separated by about 0.5. Now it's about the 0.05, excuse me. Now it's actually about 0.4, which is ridiculous. I mean, we're talking batting averages. That's an MVP versus a scrub. McGath taps over. It's going to be controlled and sent over by Glendenning, and a light tap, which turns out to be perfect positioning as Reed couldn't get there in time. That ball was moving really slow, but I guess in a very perfect spot, and no Mountaineer was home.
But also great setup and dig by Faith Frame. diving to keep the ball in play, and Cincinnati just needs 2 more to claim the first set.
Reed sends that one high. Tanton's going to send it over. Tapped up by Glendening. A good job by Glendening to control that one. Frame's going to set her, and in the back corner, perfectly placed, Carly Glendening puts this to set point for Cincinnati.
Now this crowd starting to get into it. Set point in the first set. Glendening, great kill, and it is set point.
Leffler sends it over, and off the back line, too strong. Good job by Sydney Reed on the Mountaineer side. She was the first to call it.
Very close call there. Good communication, though, by West Virginia to let it go past the boundary line. And now let's see if West Virginia can make it happen on offense.
Cassidy Tanton will serve. They're down 8 on set point, and she serves it right off the back line. Exactly what Caitlin Leffler did, and the Bearcats are going to take set 1. And Fifth Third Arena is erupting. Of course, we mentioned that first set is super important for momentum building and the rest of the match going forward. And the Bearcats have that, and they have the crowd behind their side and the energy behind their sides. On what is a little gloomy Thursday morning, they've brought that a little bit up now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Crowd is pumped up here after that first set, but also now you look at it this year, 4-0 now for Cincinnati when they have played the Mountaineers this season long. But we will take a short break and we'll be back in just a couple minutes for set 2 of Cincinnati Volleyball. Back here at Fifth Third Arena, Cincinnati Volleyball claims the first set against the Mountaineers. They lead it 1-0 here in early morning action for Cincinnati Volleyball. But here on Youth Day, man, it is bumping here in Fifth Third Arena. This crowd has been pretty electric.
Yeah, it's been so loud. It's been echoing over our headsets. We haven't even been able to hear each other half the time. They've filled almost the entire lower bowl with students from the Cincinnati area. Bunch of events pregame as well in the concourse of Fifth Third that help celebrate the special occasion, and they're screaming now. It's ridiculous.
Coyle will send it over for West Virginia, and that'll go out for a service error on the first point of this second set, and it's already 1-0 Cincinnati.
We don't normally get student sections for volleyball games here at Cincinnati, but the noise may be affecting the West Virginia serves.
I mean, it is very loud. Faith Frame will send it over. Nice possess by West Virginia. Tapped over, good dig by Faith Frame. Leffler will put it up. There's Stewart. Good dig for a second. Now Abby Walker contains it. Leffler, other side. Sydney Nolan just taps it over right in front of Sydney Reed, and Cincinnati will lead it 2-0.
And that's just great recognition and volleyball IQ by Nolan. Doesn't have to put power behind every hit. Can lightly tap it into a good spot and knows that Reed can't get there in time.
So Faith Frame's second serve. Puts it over. Green controls it for a moment. Middle of the floor. Nice dig by Faith Frame. Leffler back to Sydney Nolan. Kill opportunity. Tapped up and around. And then put it over by West Virginia. Leffler, middle of the floor. Abby Walker taps it. Great dig for a second by Sydney Reed, who pancaked her hand under the ball. But it's 3-0 Bearcats.
Yeah, again, just those lighter hits outside of the reach of the Mountaineers. It's not always about that how fast you can hit it, how hard you can hit it. Just playing the positioning of the Mountaineers, and right now they've been out of position for almost half this game.
Faith Frame, her third set, gets it over the net. Back to Dalo, middle of the floor, and that is actually going to go out. Maddie McGath thought she had a kill on that back line. It was very close, but the back judge said it was out 4-0 Cincinnati.
I'm not going to lie, I think I might agree with Maddie McGath there. I thought that might have hit back line, but we also don't have as good of an angle as the line judge.
I thought so too, but Faith Frame puts it over for her fourth serve. West Virginia blocked away by Sydney Nolan. Dalo, opposite side, and it'll go down for a kill. It is Lauren Bodley who puts it down for West Virginia, 4-1. The Woods Cross, Utah native, and West Virginia will get their first point of the second set. So Whittekine to Leffler, middle of the floor. Abby Walker puts it down, and Cincinnati is dominating so far in this second set. 5-1, Bearcats lead.
I mean, Walker's been ridiculous so far today. 5 attacks, 5 kills, and a dig as well for the veteran leader on this team.
So Nolan puts it over. Delo, middle of the floor. Abraham blocked away by Abby Walker. 2 straight points. Abby Walker has shown up big. It is 6-1 Cincinnati, and it has been pure domination so far at the beginning of the second set. So now Sydney Nolan, second time, puts it over. Back to Delo. Tapped over for a second. Great dig. And Cincinnati's bench is furious. They're going to call that it hit the ground, and Cincinnati was going to challenge for a second. Sydney Nolan, though, I think told coach that it hit the ground, so no challenge needed. West Virginia gets the point at 6-2.
Yeah, just those close plays like that. I understand the frustration from the Cincinnati bench if they thought that Nolan got that one, but of course, Nolan, team player, knows that she didn't get there.
Painter sent it over, but it'll be a service error. It goes right out of bounds. And now Glendinning and Gillespie will check in for Cincinnati. 7-2 they lead as Gillespie will go to serve. So Gillespie's first serve of the second set, and it's a nice one. Nice dig, though, by West Virginia. Gillespie to Leffler, back over to Glendinning, and it'll be another kill for Cincinnati. 8-2 Bearcats.
Yeah, I mean, Glendinning got all of that one, reared back fully, and just unleashed right on the ball. I'm gonna feel bad for the ball. If that thing had feelings, it might be hurt right now.
4 kills now for Glendinning on the match so far, and now a timeout called by West Virginia. 8-2, and now another pop quiz.
The pop quiz.
So we'll see what we get here from the pop quiz. We got trivia about water and about protein last time, so let's see what we get. The question is, how many hours of sleep should you get each night? And they just showed us the answer.
9 to 12? Nobody's getting 9 hours of sleep a night. I'm sorry. 12 hours? Ain't no way.
It's best to limit your screen time to 2 hours a day. That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't, but yeah.
How many minutes of physical activity should
60.
you get each day? I'm saying
60.
I'm saying 30.
It's that NFL 60 per day thing or something like that they used to do. Yeah.
Dang it. Didn't get that one. I'm still trying to think about the hours of sleep. I mean,
9 to 12 hours of sleep?
I'm not getting that.
I've maybe got 9 to 12 hours of sleep once in the last year. That's not every night. There's no way.
I always thought it was 8 hours of sleep.
I thought it was like 6 to
universally
8.
known thing.
How many hours did I get last night?
I got
Hold
6
on.
hours last night.
I went to bed at like 12 and I woke up at 7. That's 7. That's pretty good.
I was playing NCAA last night till like 1 a.m. Not gonna lie. So,
dude, I have done that. Trust me.
My Ohio State franchise is cooking right now. So,
hey, I've run 4 natties in a row with Rutgers. Shout out Rutgers, man.
So, ready to get underway once again. Gillespie will serve it for the second time. 8-2. Bearcats lead it in the second set. West Virginia, Dalo over, and that will go way out of bounds. Cassidy Tanton tried to put it down for West Virginia, but it is going to go out of bounds. Ninth read by Faith Frame. It's 9-2.
And I don't hate the idea of Tanton trying to go cross-court onto the sideline, just put a little bit too much juice on it.
So Gillespie sends it over for a third time. Dalo back to Ibrahim, and that one just went past the swinging arm of Lily Gillespie for a West Virginia point. So now Cassidy Tanton will go to serve for West Virginia. 9-3, Bearcats lead, and the noise is still crazy here at Fifth Third Arena on this early morning game, and it'll go out, and it seems like it's affecting the service for West Virginia. That's another service error for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, they've had multiple times where the serves just aren't going where they want them, out of bounds into the net. They're probably just not used to playing with the amount of noise that Fifth Third is bringing right now.
So Abby Walker will send it over for West Virginia. Ibrahim on the far sideline. Miscommunication between Sydney Nolan and Lily Gillespie. That'll be a kill for West Virginia. It makes it 10-4. Walker will check out. Fake Frame will check back in.
Yeah, I think in that spot it was Gillespie's ball. She was already in position and underneath. Nolan kind of slid over out of spot to try to come over. I think those two obviously will work out the miscommunications as the game goes on.
So Sydney Reed sent it over. Gillespie to Leffler. Leffler surprisingly hits it over. Reed will send it over. Nolan back to Leffler. Back to Glendinning, and she'll put it down. And it's an easy kill for Carly Glendinning. That'll be her 5th kill of the morning. And Cincinnati leads 11-4. So Leffler, the setter, will send it over for Cincinnati. It's a clean, high-arcing serve, and it'll just go out. So maybe not clean. I spoke too soon. It'll be a service error for Cincinnati, and it's 11-5.
Yeah, it's not great to have mistakes like that. Of course, you don't want to ever have errors on a serve, but you're leading 11-5. You can afford a few mistakes when you get yourself out to that big of a lead.
And they're challenging the call, actually.
I'm going to sound like those memes of LeBron lying, but I thought in real time it did hit the back line.
I couldn't get a good read on it, but Coach Alvey thought differently, so she will hand the officials the green card to challenge it. We'll see. It was a high-arcing serve, so that could have helped with possibly where it landed. And I believe they will still give the point. Yes, they will. So they give the point to West Virginia. Failed challenge by Cincinnati. 11-5. And now Lauren Dalo will send it over for West Virginia in the second set. Gets over. Nolan digged it away. Leffler put it back to Washington. Good dig, though, by West Virginia. Blocked away by Glendinning for a second. back to West Virginia, and then blocked away for a second time, but this time it's Zeta Washington on our near sideline, and Cincinnati goes up 12-5.
And Zeta Washington at the net is not easy to get by. Blocked twice in a row. She stands tall at the net, gets her hands in great spot, and just puts it right back down on the Mountaineer side.
Weren't very efficient in the first set blocking, but we've already seen a couple really good blocks in the second set. Whittakind puts it over. Dalo back over, and a great kill right there by Maddie McGath. Faith Frame stood no chance, almost got folded in half trying to dig that away for Cincinnati, but Cincinnati still has a 6-point lead as Quincy Coyle will go to serve.
She dove down on the ground and tried to get underneath that. When you said folded in half, looked like an origami piece.
Coyle sends it. Whittakind to Leffler, back to Washington. Reed dug it away. Dalo back over to Haley Green. Whittakind digs it to Leffler, opposite side. Sydney Nolan sends it away. Good defense, though, by West Virginia, and the ball still in play. Faith Frame to Leffler, back over to Stewart, and it'll be a nice kill. Great defense by West Virginia, but the Cincinnati offense stays strong, and they get the point.
Fallon Stewart loves those cross-court sets. Anytime she gets them, she takes advantage, and that time is no different.
Stewart has 5 kills, one of the leaders for the Bearcats so far today. Dalo back over, and that's going to go way out. Lauren Bodley tried to get a kill for West Virginia, but it just soared on her, and it's 14-6. So substitutions now for West Virginia, as Lederer will come in for West Virginia, I believe for Bodley after the miss hit. Faith Frame sends it for Cincinnati. And now West Virginia will get a kill on that opposite sideline. Maddie McGath once again being a big contributor for West Virginia. They'll cut the lead to 7. So now McBride will be serving it. Noise again from the Cincinnati crowd. Whittakind back to Leffler to Sydney Nolan, and that'll be a nice kill by Sydney Nolan, who she's having herself a ball game. 7 kills now for the outside hitter, and she'll also go to serve for Cincinnati, 15-7.
Yeah, we're deep in the set too, and the Bearcats are still well over 500 hitting percentage. That's a ridiculous number if you follow college volleyball.
To West Virginia's 100 hitting percentage. So pretty big difference there on paper so far today. Nice dig by Whittakind, put away again. Great dig though by Faith Frame. Found Stewart on the big ball, gets tipped around. Whittakind couldn't get to the deflection. It actually shoots out Leffler, but it'll go down for a West Virginia point, 15-8. So now West Virginia getting some points back, and now the freshman Painter will go to serve. Whittakind had it wonky away for a second. Found Stewart off the ball. Nice dig by Reed to Dalo. Back to Haley Green. Tipped away by Leffler. Reed couldn't get to it. And a nice point actually was Abby Walker on the block. Cincinnati 16, West Virginia 8. So Lily Gillespie will go to serve for Cincinnati, 16-8. It has been a very good set so far for the Bearcats. They've been controlling the lead by 5 or more for most of the contest so far.
Yeah, and they really started the pull away at the end of that first set, and they continued that on to set 2 rather than going back to that back and forth style in the very beginning of set 1.
It was a nice serve by Gillespie. Faith Frame digs it to Leffler. Back over there to Glendenning, but it's a nice block right there by West Virginia to get a point back, and it's 16-9.
I think there was a little miscommunication there between Gillespie and Frame. I think Faith Frame pulled back because she saw Gillespie going for it and didn't want to whack her in the face, and neither of them were able to get to it.
So Tanton will serve it for West Virginia. Gillespie kind of a wonky dig again. Glendenning off of the setup. Back over there to Haley Green, tapped away, and it'll go out for a West Virginia point. And now a little bit of momentum, 16-10, West Virginia, 2 points in a row. So second serve in a row for Cassidy Tanton. Gillespie, that time, good dig. Faith Frame sets up Glendenning, blocked away though, and West Virginia is starting to show up on defense. Second block in a row over there on that strong side by Ibrahim, and that's a timeout for Cincinnati. Coach Alvey wants to talk about it with her squad.
Yeah, and that's a really good use of a timeout. You just let up 3 points in a row. Want to get your team on track, give them a little break, let them rest, talk it over, get some water. You know, there's errors and miscommunications that are easily fixed things. You know, it's not going to keep you down for too long. Overall, they've still been playing a very good game of volleyball. You just want to ease the emotions a little bit when you give up 3 in a row.
Yeah, and they've been playing good so far in the second set. I mean, they still lead by 5. Ibrahim now has 5 blocks on the contest. That's pretty impressive numbers right there for the West Virginia defender. But now we're going to get a UB the DJ on the video screen now. This crowd is erupting.
I'm not even sure they know what they're yelling for. They're just yelling.
I know. I kind of love it though, because I mean, this is my 3rd volleyball game so far this year, and as you said, we don't really get like the student involvement that much here for UC.
Should I be concerned that kids are listening to Chappelle Roan?
Yeah, I'm like at a loss of words right now. They're going crazy though.
I'm trying to think back. What I listened to as a kid, it was whatever my mom put on the radio in the car.
So now Tanton will serve it away once again for West Virginia on a bit of a scoring run here. Abby Walker kind of had to go back and hit that one over. And now Ibrahim will send it over, but it goes right past the boundary line. And that'll end the 3-0 scoring run for West Virginia, 17-11. And now video review. So West Virginia will challenge the call on the court. And this crowd still going bonkers here on an early morning on a Thursday. But it's a big weekend for UC Athletics this weekend. Cincinnati football is back home against West Virginia on Saturday. It'll be a noon kick on FS1, as well as the Cincinnati basketball team on Friday playing Morehead State. And man, did they look good on Monday.
It's 4 games in 4 days here in Cincinnati as well. There's something going on Sunday, and I can't remember what it was. But I know there's something going on Sunday.
I don't know.
I can't remember, but I know it's that we've been talking about, of course, with Bearcasters, that 4 games in 4 days, and we're all trying to scramble and cover them all. A lot going on, of course.
I love it. I love it, though. You know, this basketball season is finally here. As Leffler puts it up, Glendenning had to just tap it away. West Virginia, though, contains it momentarily. Abby Walker back to Leffler, back to Glendenning. Blocked away by Ibrahim again. And this West Virginia defense is stepping up. And don't look now, it's a 3-point game.
It's a 5-0 scoring run as well for the Mountaineers. Just a couple minutes ago it was 16-8, now 16-13.
Well, I was so distracted by the dancing, I didn't even see they overturned that call. Wow. So West Virginia on a bit of a scoring run here, and Abby Walker, though, will end it right there. She'll put it right between the West Virginia defenders, 17-13. But when we really thought Cincinnati was going to pull ahead in this second set, West Virginia's defense has stepped up big, especially from Lila Abraham with 6 blocks now on the day. So Cincinnati will serve West Virginia, Dalo back to Haley Green, and it'll be another kill. Leffler couldn't quite corral the ball there. 17-14. West Virginia cuts it to 3 again. Faith Frame will check back in. Walker will go out. So Gillespie, Nolan, and Frame on that back row. Leffler, Glendenning, and Washington in the front for Cincinnati. Nolan to Leffler, and it got tapped away. It'll go out. West Virginia's coaches, they might have to challenge this again, and I think
they're looking at, yep, they will. Oh, maybe not.
No, I think they are. Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
so they're
okay.
challenging again. Coach Greeny and the West Virginia bench was definitely distraught after that. I think they're saying it might have got tipped.
Yeah, unfortunately, they no longer show the video reviews here in Fifth Third Arena. They used to. Last year they did. They aren't this year, which is a little frustrating for us, of course. We don't have the monitors to be able to see the review. But
they showed it once. The first review when Chase and I did a game last week, they showed one replay, but they haven't since. So we don't really know. We can't see anything, so we're not really sure either. We'll have to see about the call, but it's a big call, honestly. It could make this a 2-point game, and they will say it's tipped, and it's a West Virginia point. So 17-15 now, and West Virginia chipping away slowly but surely, and Cincinnati would hate to lose this second set where they've really dominated for most of this entire set, but now the libero Reed will come to serve for West Virginia. It's a beautiful serve. Leffler in the middle of the floor. Washington pounds it home. No chance for Reed to get back from serving, and it's a 3-point lead for the Bearcats.
That's what you needed to get yourself back into the game. Washington whacks that one to the ground. And now a little bit of momentum shift potentially for Cincinnati.
Leffler high arcing serve. Dalo back over, and it'll go out. It was a good chance by Maddie McGath on that outside zone, but it just went out of bounds. Faith Frame was the closest Bearcat defender there, but 2 points in a row for the Bearcats. 19-15, they lead it in a close second set here at Fifth Third. Leffler will high arc it once again. West Virginia easily controls it. Maddie McGath, good dig though by Leffler. Washington just tries to body it over. Nolan back over to Glendenning off of a nice assist. Reed couldn't get there, and it was not a pretty point, but Cincinnati gets it. 3-0 scoring run now. 20-15, West Virginia will burn a timeout.
I wish you all could see what we just saw. Glendenning came sprinting in and soaring to the middle of the court. She jumped up there like Jordan and smacked that. Honestly, ridiculous to just watch in real time.
Glendenning has done that a couple of times, but also the freshman Fallon Stewart has done that on those high arcing passes that kind of just seem like they're in the air forever. But it works out. That length, again, is proving to be a big factor for the Bearcats. 20-15, they lead it by 5.
I gotta say, I didn't give the younger generation, of course it's weird from me, 19 years old, talking about the younger generation, that feels odd. But I didn't give them much credit. They know a lot of like the 2010s radio classics. I didn't think they would.
It's been great to see, honestly. It's been a crazy turnout from some of the younger generation, like you were saying, in the Cincinnati area, but I think it's helped this Bearcats team, at least momentum-wise. We've seen a couple service errors from West Virginia right there in front of that student section, you can say, for Cincinnati, but as both teams will start to go out to the court, big turning point here. This is a point in the game where one team's going to have to just step on the gas and go full steam ahead. It's 20-15, Cincinnati leads, but getting the second set would be huge for the Bearcats.
Yeah, I mean, going up 2-0, obviously you want to get that lead. We saw the Bearcats earlier this season at home go up 2-0 against Kansas State and drop that 3-2. Not ideal, but of course, that is a one-time thing for this team. Since then, they haven't dropped any 2-0 leads to my knowledge.
Yeah, they dropped 2-1 against Texas Tech last week, but they just have had a little bit of trouble with finishing out games, but hopefully they can get the second set here. Nice dig by Cincinnati. Reed Back to Dalo, back to Haley Green. Nice dig by Faith Frame, but no one was there. 4 Bearcats were around it. Big time point there for West Virginia. They cut it to 4.
I'm not sure they even thought Faith Frame got to that one. I think they were a little surprised to even see the ball up in the air.
The athleticism being shown by the former Big 12 Freshman of the Week. She's been named twice this year so far. Service air right there by West Virginia, side out Cincinnati. And now some substitutions. Whitacon, Fallon Stewart will come in for Glendenning and Gillespie. And now Whitacon will go to serve. 21-16. Bearcats lead it in the second set. They lead it 1-0 here on an early Thursday, I guess you could say afternoon now. Whitacon, beautiful serve right off of the net. Haley Green will send it over, and just some miscommunication, but the Bearcats still managed to put it over. Reed, middle of the floor, Dalo back to Haley Green for his second time. It gets tipped away, and a big time West Virginia point there, 21-17. So now Quincy Coyle will go to serve for West Virginia, who has yet to have an ace today so far. It's a nice one. Whitacon just sent it way too far up. It was kind of trying to get it to Leffler there for the set, but the West Virginia's front was right there to clean it up, and it's 21-18. So West Virginia, 2 straight points, have brought it to a 3-point game. So now Quincy Coyle will serve for the second time in a row. Big point here for both of these teams late here in the second set. Coyle sends it over, back row Whitacon, back to Leffler, over to Sydney Nolan. It was blocked away again by this West Virginia defensive front, who has been so good in this second set. I think that's like the 6th block we've seen. Timeout by Coach Alvey and Cincinnati. It's 21-19.
Yeah, Coach Alvey cannot be very happy at all right now with their team. West Virginia has really come alive since the middle part of this set too, and the Bearcats still holding on to this lead, but just by a thread. West Virginia has that momentum. You really, if you're the Bearcats at this point, you just want to calm down. You don't want to get too overly excited. You don't want to let the emotions run. I know that's tough with the crowd. You want to give them excitement, but really just be calm, play your game. Let the plays come to you. Let them happen as they happen, and I think that's all they really need to do.
And the huddle, I think, for both these teams is 2 different conversations. For Cincinnati, just like what you were saying, you want to slow down, you don't want to make any mistakes, but for West Virginia, this is a team that was down, I think, 16-5 in the second set at one point, and they've clawed their way all the way back to make this a 2-point game. They're on a 3-0 scoring run, and they have a serve once again. But for this Cincinnati team, if you give up a set like this where you've been winning the entire time, you've controlled it the entire time, that can be a really big backbreaker for the Bearcats. So Cincinnati back on the floor. West Virginia's huddle will break. Like I said before, 21-19. Bearcats lead it in the second set. Quincy Coyle will serve it for her 3rd time in a row. This crowd is still pumped up here on this second set. And as you can hear it right there behind our voices, Quincy Coyle will serve for her 3rd time in a row. And it's a good one. Whitacon back to Leffler. She'll set up Zeta Washington. No one's home for West Virginia, and Washington just stopped her way right into the living room. And that's a nice point there for Zeta Washington right in the middle of the floor, 22-19. So Faith Frame, the star libero for Cincinnati, skies it to Reed. Back to Dalo. Haley Green will put it over. Nice reaction time by Leffler. Back to Sydney Nolan. Just kind of routinely puts it up. Dalo back to Haley Green. It was tipped away by Abby Walker, and it's a big point for West Virginia. They stay right there, 22-20. Reed will check out, and the big-time blocker, Abraham, will check back in the middle of the floor for West Virginia. And now Maddie McGath will go to serve for the Mountaineers. This is a pivotal point in the set, 22-20. Cincinnati leads Whitacon and frame in the back row. Whittekine will give it to Leffler, back to Sydney Nolan. Beautiful kill right there. Nice spin on the ball, and no chance for McGath to get back there from her serving spot. 23-20, Cats lead.
Yeah, Nolan just went the opposite way, turned on it on the right side of the ball, sent it to her left on the opposite side. I don't think the Western Virginia Mountaineers were expecting that out of Sydney Nolan.
Well, after a nice point by Sydney Nolan, she'll go to serve it. 23-20, Cats lead. She puts it over, good serve, good dig though. Back to Dalo, back to Haley Green, and it's a nice kill by Cincinnati. And back and forth they go. Painter will check in now for West Virginia. Glendenning and Gillespie about to check in for Cincinnati. 23-21, 2-point game. As Painter, who just checked in for the Mountaineers, will go to serve. Good serve, Whittekine to Leffler, back to Walker. It was tipped away. Painter couldn't get back from her position, just off the fingertips, and now it is set point. 24-21, Bearcats lead. So now the crowd on their feet. Gillespie, who just checked in for the Bearcats, will serve it away, trying to win this second set. High arcing serve. Dalo will get it over to Ibrahim, and it'll be hit the ground. Faith Frame tried to get to it, but it was not in time. Big point by West Virginia, makes it a 2-point game. Haley Green will check back in the game in the front row for West Virginia. And now Tanton, who will go to serve. 24-22, Cincinnati leads. This crowd getting into it, trying to do anything they can to let Cincinnati win this set. Tanton got it over Gillespie, back to Leffler, back to Glendenning. Good dig by Reed, but it got tipped away in the net. McGath couldn't get to it, miscommunication. It's Cincinnati. Even though it wasn't easy, back and forth they go. West Virginia crawled their way back. They will win the second set, and they will go up 2-0.
Yeah, a good job by Cincinnati to hold on to that one. And kudos to West Virginia for even making that a close set after the lead that the Bearcats had. But now the Bearcats with a 2-0 set lead and a little bit of a break in the locker rooms. We'll see if they come out here firing on all cylinders or if West Virginia tries to make a comeback.
So we will take a quick break, and we will be back in just a few moments from Fifth Third Arena. Cincinnati leads West Virginia 2-0.
Returning back to Fifth Third Arena for set 3, the Bearcats lead 2-0 over the West Virginia Mountaineers, and they're looking to get their second sweep of the Mountaineers this season. Of course, September 23rd in Morgantown, they won 3-0. Now today on November 7th in Cincinnati, looking to win 3-0. Julie Whittakin back to serve for the Bearcats. Sends that one over. Reed taps it up. Going to be returned by McGath, lightly tapped, and good dive by Frame to keep that one alive. Fallon Stewart gets it high and off the hands of McGath and out of bounds. Bearcats take the first point.
Faith Frame has been electric all morning long. Again, right there, a little pancake dig, gets her hand right under the ball, gets it up for the kill, and it's a big point for Cincinnati. They lead at 1-0.
Whittakin, second serve in a row for her. Tapped it by Reed again. This time cross-court set to Tanton and blocked down on the West Virginia side. They'll keep it alive. Sends over a free ball by Coyle. Leffler set in the middle to Washington. Lightly tapped and a misread by McGath and Ibrahim. And that's a Bearcat 2-0 lead.
It'll be interesting to see how Cincinnati comes out of the break after honestly a lot closer of a second set than we expected. But Cincinnati already has 2 quick points. Let's see if they can capitalize on that lead.
Whittakin sends that one right on the back line. A great serve by Whittakin, and I honestly thought that was going to soar out of bounds, but the line judge says no.
I did too. Tough read by Reed there on that back line, but it's a great kill, or great ace, and that's 2 in a row by Whittakin. 4-0, Cincinnati leads.
Little bit of a miscommunication there. Tanton stuck her hands out to try to get it. She didn't know that Sydney Reed was in position to set that one up. Bearcat lead early into set 3. Whittakin still serving on this streak. That one tapped up by Tanton. Ibrahim's going to set McGath in the middle. And Frame got a hand on it, but a tough one to be able to get to. And the first West Virginia point of set 3 comes off of McGath.
Kind of surprising that Frame couldn't get that up. I feel like she's been digging the ball away all morning long, but a nice kill by West Virginia gets them back on track.
So it will be Maddie McGath serving. Lightly balloons that one over, barely got over. Leffler set to Washington, and that one way far off the sideline and out of bounds.
That was like, that seemed like it wasn't even like a real serve. Like it literally would just got, maybe it just went off the side of her hand or something, but it just floated, but it ends up being a West Virginia point.
4-2. McGath for her second serve in a row. Another just ballooning serve. Leffler's got to run over to get to it. Sets up Stewart, blocked and kept alive by Faith Frame. Stewart for a second time, and that one's good on the ground for a Bearcat kill.
Fallon Stewart's done a great job at getting those kills off of those lob passes. That's her 7th kill. There's 3 Cats already with 7 kills, and also Sydney Nolan with 8 of her own. So 4 Bearcats have been contributing pretty fairly.
Frame knocks that one over for the serve. A kill attempt right at Whittakin, kept alive. The set to Stewart and a light tap right in the middle. And that's about the 4th or 5th time today where there's been nobody home in the middle of the defense for West Virginia. And the light tap just does what it does, falls to the ground.
8th kill now by Fallon Stewart, and the freshman has been really doing well. Another freshman, Faith Frame, setting the serve away.
Coyle taps it up. Ibrahim set in the middle and into the net off of the hands of the Mountaineers. More mistakes. And it's a 7-2 Bearcat lead.
It's exactly what we wanted for the Bearcats coming out of the second set, already a 7-2 lead.
The return attempt off of the hands of Tanton finds the ground after a powerful hit. Whittakin dove and couldn't get there in time.
Bearcats have to keep this lead at, I'm going to say, about 3 or 4 throughout this third set. But we saw West Virginia have a huge comeback last time. You just don't want to get into that position again.
Ailey Painter sends that one, grazes the net and gets over. Nolan blocked in the net, kept up by Leffler. Good job to outstretch her hands, and now Stewart sends over a free ball. Dello set to Tanton, light tap, and the diving effort by Stewart, just not in time to get there. Seven to 4. Cincinnati still leads. Painter to send over her second one in a row. Whittakin taps that one up, set right in the middle. Leffler to Walker and blocked down on the Cincinnati side. It's another Mountaineer point.
Ibrahim again right there on that defensive front with another block. She has, I think that's 7 now on the day. She's been a presence on that defensive front for the Mountaineers.
Painter, third serve in a row. That one to Whittakin once again. Leffler this time set back to Nolan, and good off the hands of Sydney Reed. A good job by Reed to get into position, but it's tough to control Sydney Nolan's hits when she gets all power into it.
It's very tough to control. 9 kills now for Sydney Nolan on the day with 16 attempts. She has been very, very efficient on the offensive production.
The serve over is going to be tapped and returned by the Mountaineers and blocked at the net by Fallon Stewart. Down on the West Virginia side. It's a 9-5 lead now for the Bearcats. Early in set 3, Sydney Nolan is going to serve. Sends that one over, tapped up by Tanton. Back set, Ibrahim off the hands of Walker and out of bounds. Side out West Virginia, it's 9-6.
Bearcats have done a good job at, overall just playing as a team in this third set. We've seen a couple of really good defensive plays, but also setting each other up on the offensive block.
Cassidy Tanton sends it over for the Mountaineers, and too strong off the back line. Bearcat point, and another service error for the Mountaineers. Make that 7 on the day. Gillespie sends it over for Cincinnati. Haley Green blocked to the net and out of bounds off of Walker and Leffler.
West Virginia starting to cut into that lead a little bit. 3-point lead now for Cincinnati. And one thing the Bearcats do not want to get into are these really, really close game situations. They've struggled throughout the year, closing out games like we've been talking about earlier.
That one going to be tapped up by Gillespie and returned over by Carly Glendening. Hit the net, so tough play for the Mountaineers. They weren't able to get to it in time. Bearcats 11-7.
Bearcats at a .424 hitting percentage right now, just over 200 more than West Virginia. Their offense has shined so far today.
Molly Harrison in to serve for the Bearcats. She's played 35 sets on the year, 2 sets today. And another play at the net goes the way of the Bearcats. It's Carly Glendening and Zeta Washington up the middle.
Carly showing her dual capabilities there. She can play defense, but also can be the team leader in kills.
Harrison sends that one over. A little bit of a line drive kept up by Painter. Green's going to return, blocked down on the West Virginia side, and into the net for the Mountaineers. So that's a Bearcat point, 13-7.
Just when the Mountaineers started to cut into the lead, made it a 3-point game, make it a 3-point run now for the Bearcats, 13-7.
Harrison to send it over once again. That time, miscue on the serve is out of bounds off of the back line. The 5th service error of the day for Cincinnati. And it's 13-8, side out West Virginia. It's going to be Lauren Dello to serve.
Bearcats have done a good job at not allowing many service errors so far through this match. So that is one very good positive sign for this team.
Dello's serve, tapped it by Gillespie. the set to Glendening down right in front of Reed. No chance, and the Bearcats take it back. Glendening approaching that double-digit kill mark. She's got 9 along with Sydney Nolan, who has 9. Leffler's going to serve. Tanton knocks it up in the air. Ibrahim set to McGath, and that one way off the sideline and out of bounds. And we'll get a timeout called by the Mountaineers as they fall down 15-8. Middle of set 3, and this is an elimination for the Mountaineers. They drop this set. They're going home back to Morgantown with 2 sweep losses to the Bearcats on the season.
Pretty much the exact same number-wise as the second set. Cincinnati leads at 15-8. They have a 7-point lead just over halfway through the set. And this is when you just got a timeout by West Virginia. You got to go full steam ahead and try to sweep this West Virginia team.
Of course, we mentioned there's this game today at 11 that you're listening to, and then tomorrow night at 7 p.m. here at Fifth Third Arena, the basketball team plays Morehead State. Chase Yance and Colin Coons will be on the call for that one in Bearcast Media. Saturday football at noon, that's going to be me and Krish Pagan. That one against West Virginia as well. So Mountaineers are going to be double events here. And then Sunday on the 10th, Jack, you got a women's game on the 10th at 2 p.m.
Oh, there's that. I'm excited for that.
You and Casey Stevens on the call.
Me and KC getting the call, some basketball. That's going to be exciting. I mean, the women's team, they won their game the other night. Both of the basketball teams looking good. And, you know, getting in the months of November and December, we're going to get a lot of games here on Bearcast. A lot of different sports coming up for Bearcast Media.
It's a stacked month of November. They sent out the schedule just yesterday. There are so many games happening. Of course, December won't be as many with Christmas break, but we will still have coverage for all of those as well.
I'm still so impressed from the men's team on Monday. I watched that whole game back at the dorm, and they just played very efficient.
I watched that whole game. I was standing just about 100 feet to my left over in the student section here in Fifth Third. Play at the net, a little bit of an awkward play. The Mountaineers just let it fall to the ground. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it is Bearcat pointed at 16-8, and this is deja vu from set 2 because 16-8 is when the Mountaineers began their large run to almost make a comeback. We'll see if they do it here, and that's not a good start for the Bearcats. Off of Gillespie right into the face of Faith Frame. Hopefully she's okay. It's not fun to take a volleyball off the face.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt a little bit. I mean, that was a big time kill for West Virginia. Like you were saying, though, 16-9 now. It'll be interesting. Maybe we'll get another run by the Mountaineers in a time where they really have to start going on a run.
Served over by Coyle. Returned over in one tap by the Bearcats, and then blocked down out of bounds off of Glendening. So it's 16-10, 2 in a row for the Mountaineers, and that 16-8 number continuing to loom and continuing to start runs for the West Virginia team. Coyle sends it again. That time out of bounds, just barely. Good call by Faith Frame and Carly Glendening.
Couldn't really tell as our vantage point's a little hidden over there on that far boundary line, but good read there by the back line of the defense. Cats lead by 7.
Whittakin subs back in to take the serve. It's 17-10. Again, Cincinnati leads 2 sets to none. Reed taps it up. They're going to set up Tanton. Holy jeez. Tanton got all of that one into the back right corner on the Bearcat side.
That's a big time kill right there. Cincinnati defense couldn't do anything about it. And this West Virginia team, even though they're down 2-0, they got swept the first time they played Cincinnati, this team does fight. I mean, they fight like we saw in the second set, 16-8. We're 3 points away from winning the set. They're down 6 here, though. They need to go on a run right now.
Whittakin taps it up high. Leffler back sets. And Nolan sends over a free ball that is not able to be controlled by the Mountaineers. That is a huge mistake on their side.
Ball was just flowing there for a second, and I don't think that the West Virginia defender saw it. She just tried to hit it over, but it goes way out of bounds, and the Cats will go up 7.
Mishandling a free ball is not something you see often. Frame sends the serve over to set on the opposite side to Tanton. Light tap, and it's going to be returned by a diving Faith Frame. A great job and a great effort, and now blocked in the net and down for the Mountaineers. Painter's going to sub back in and take the serve.
It'll be a point. I wasn't sure what happened.
Yeah, I thought it went down on the West Virginia side.
It might have been net violation, maybe.
That's what I think it's got to be.
But what a play by Faith Frame again, diving dig there.
Painter's serve just barely gets over. Whittakin taps it up. Return attempt by Fallon Stewart has blocked him down.
Here we go again. 18-13, West Virginia's on another run. And they have the serve. Painter will go to serve. You would think if West Virginia scores maybe 1 or 2 more, Coach Alvey might have to call timeout.
I think if they drop this one, Alvey is going to immediately call that timeout. Whittakin returns, and then that one high over the net. Tapped down by Tanton. A very easy play for her.
Miscommunication right there in the front for Cincinnati, and just like you said, Tanton just wide open for the point. It's now 18-14, and no timeout called by Coach Alvey, letting them play it out here.
A little bit surprised on that one, but we'll see how it plays out. Nolan taps it up, a tough return. Stewart's gonna have to send over a free ball. Painter taps up, back set to Ibrahim, blocked down and out of bounds on the West Virginia side, and it's gonna be 18-15, and now we'll see that Molly Alvey timeout, maybe a point too late.
Yep.
It's cut down to just 3.
There's the timeout, 18-15, but again, same exact thing as the second set. This team is just fighting. It's a 3-point game, just like that, 18-15. West Virginia has all the momentum. And it's not even like West Virginia's getting crazy kills, or like it's just been miscommunication from Cincinnati on a couple plays. That last one was a good kill by Ibrahim on this near sideline. But the Bearcats now only lead it by 3. We've only seen them blow a 2-0 lead against Kansas State a couple weeks ago, but they still haven't even given up a set to this West Virginia team this season so far. It's been 5-0 between the last 2 matches. But from West Virginia, what Coach Greeny's probably telling her team is that, hey, we're right there. We get a couple points right here, we're right back in the game.
Do you think the Bearcats had that 16-8 number kind of lingering in their head?
Yeah, it might be floating around in there, and it has to be like, you gotta think about it. Like, it has to be a mindset in that huddle. When it's 16-8, you have all the momentum, and then just slowly, maybe they get that lead and they start to ease up a little bit. They might get a little bit too comfortable, and West Virginia gets some points away. But now with another serve for West Virginia, 4-0 scoring run for the Mountaineers. This is danger time for Cincinnati. If they start to give up some more points, they might get to a point where they're going to have to put their backs against the wall and try to grit it out for a win.
Crowd trying to get into it a little bit more and hype up their Bearcats. Painter is still back there to serve for West Virginia. Sends that one, tapped up by Whittakin. Leffler set in the middle to Walker, going to be tapped up by Reed and return. Tanton blocked at the net, diving Leffler keeps it alive, and that one's going to be returned by Sydney Nolan. This time it's Tanton again, a light tap and a diving Fallon Stewart just can't get there, and the Bearcats just look out of sync out there on the court.
Smart play by Tanton. The ball got blocked on the play before, so that time she decides just to tap it over. Sydney Nolan and Abby Walker drops in perfectly, but yeah, just like you were saying, a little off sync. 2-point game and a 5-0 scoring run for the Mountaineers.
Painter sends it again. Whittakin taps it high. Leffler back set to Nolan and controlled by the Mountaineers. They've had struggles with that today. They get that one. Tanton sends it over. Going to be returned by Nolan, and that time it's going to be a Bearcat point. Reed hit it so hard that it soared out of bounds.
Reed almost dug it away, but that was a big-time hit on that far sideline for Cincinnati. And now Sydney Nolan will go to serve after the big-time kill. Cats lead it by 3.
19-16, Bearcats still lead. This one's going to be a play at the net, and it's going to go the way of the Bearcats. Walker and Stewart knocked it over.
Big 2 points there by the Bearcats. They'll go up 4 now, 20-16. And after a 5-0 scoring run for West Virginia, the Cats fight back with 2 points of their own. They go up 4, and they're 5 points away from ending this one here on an early Thursday game with a big-time crowd on hand.
Of course, we started this at 11 a.m. We've been live for an hour and 43 minutes. If you've been joining us for all of that hour and 43 minutes, of course, we appreciate you guys listening on Bearcast Media. It's about 12:30 now. It's a little bit of lunchtime. I've got class at 2 o'clock, so if this one goes to 5 sets, we might be in trouble.
We might be in trouble. There might be a email to the professor if this one goes to 2 o'clock. But
Professor Holly, if you're listening, my bad, man. I got to finish the volleyball game.
What class is at 2 o'clock?
English.
I also have English.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, I'm actually writing a paper about NIL right now. So.
I wrote a paper about NIL last year.
Really?
Who's your professor?
Daniel Dale.
Ah, okay, not the same person then. Yeah, I wrote a paper about, what was it? It was why NIL needs a cap and like the changes that NIL needs to have for college football.
Mine is like what the takeaways from like people that support NIL and are against NIL and stuff like that. But yeah,
that's interesting. Similar topics for English papers.
The Bearcats lead this third set by a score of 20-16.
Well, back out of the timeout, it's 20-16. Bearcats lead. Sydney Nolan is going to serve for Cincinnati. A high and a tough return. And Painter's going to send over a free ball for the Bearcats. You need to take advantage of this. Walker does just that. Perfect back set by Leffler, and Walker smacks that one to the ground. It's a 5-point lead, 21-16.
And after the 5.0 scoring run by West Virginia, Cincinnati's on a 3-0 run of their own.
Reed taps up that serve. Tanton's going to return it right to Stewart. Leffler, fake set over, and it hit the net, or else it might have been a Bearcat point. Whittakin with the return, one tap and over. Now Stewart blocked in the net. Whittakin dives, keep it alive. What a rally we have. Fallon Stewart's hit is controlled. Reed's going to send it to Tanton. That one kept alive by Whittakin, and now Frame returns it. An opportunity for the Mountaineers, and that one off the hands of Walker and over the hands of Sydney Nolan. What a crazy point. And it goes the way of the Mountaineers.
Best rally of the day by both teams. Great defense, honestly. I mean, we were looking at the replay on that last play. Sydney Nolan and Whittakin put it up off of the ground. But West Virginia, that's a big point for the Mountaineers. Gets them back, breaks the 3-0 scoring run for Cincinnati. And now a big-time serve here for West Virginia.
Tanton sends it over. Whittakin controls. That one tapped by Ibrahim off the hands of Leffler at the net and out of bounds. 21-18 West Virginia.
That ball just floated up in the air for a little too long. Ibrahim just finished it off, got tipped away and landed in. 21-18.
Cassidy Tanton still serving for the Mountaineers. They're down just 3. The Bearcats, of course, 4 points away from taking this 3-0 sweep. This one's going to be returned by Stewart, lightly tapped and blocked in the net, kept alive. Leffler back set to Nolan. Painter taps that one high, and they're going to say it hit the ground.
All right, big point there for Cincinnati. Gillespie and Glendenning will check back in. 3 points away from sweeping West Virginia as they lead it by 5. Or 4, excuse me.
Lily Gillespie is going to serve for Cincinnati. 3 points until they take this set. Sends that one. Painter taps it up. Cross set to Green. Blocked in the net and down. Nolan dove to try to get there and couldn't.
Every point West Virginia gets, it seems like it's a breath of relief. Like their backs right now are against the wall. They're fighting for every single point, because if they get one set, maybe that can start to build some momentum. I mean, they have not, it seems like they haven't had a lead all day long.
Reed serves that one over. Gillespie controlled it. Now Glendoning's going to return. Reed again with a nice control. Haley Green's going to return that one way strong and out of bounds. Side out Cincinnati, 23-19.
Ball soared on Haley Green, way past the boundary line. Big point for Cincy, 2 points away from completing the sweep against West Virginia.
And it will be senior veteran from Cleveland, Ohio, Molly Harrison, who subs in to take serves very often for this team. They trust her in this spot. Sends that one over cleanly, controlled by Tanton. Green on the opposite side, blocked down and out of bounds off of Leffler and Washington. West Virginia staying alive.
Haley Green has been a big part of why West Virginia is still in this game. Big time kill there on that far sideline, right past Leffler and the Bearcats defenders. 3-point game. West Virginia crucial points now.
Delos going to serve. Tapped up high by Nolan. Frame over to Glendening, and she'll send over a free ball. Just try to stay alive. Green sends that one with force to the ground. Somebody check the floor of Fifth Third Arena. There might be a little bit of a crack.
Haley Green again. That one with just no one even tried to get that one. That one was absolutely smoked. 2-point game, and starting to get a little intense here in Fifth Third.
Delos sends it over again. Diving Gillespie keeps it up. Leffler cross court set to Glendening. Couldn't get fully into it. Going to be returned. Green with another chance. That one right at Faith Frame. Almost dug out of the net by Washington. But it's going to go as West Virginia point. Faith Frame took that one right in her face neck area. Oh, that must have hurt.
2 in a row by, actually I think it's 3 in a row by Green, just putting it down. And even with a really good libero like Faith Frame, she couldn't quite contain it. 1-point game now. It's this is the closest it's been since the beginning of the set. West Virginia again, 16-8. They were down, second set in a row, and it's a 1-point game just like that.
Again, after going up 16-8, West Virginia has come back and made it a very, very close set. Of course, in set 2, it was 25-22. And right now it's 23-22, so we have an opportunity for a literal deja vu of 16-8 to 25-22 sets back to back. Kind of ridiculous how that happens, but that's just sports.
That is, that's crazy. It's a game of runs, honestly, just like basketball. Volleyball is very similar in that aspect. Cincinnati takes the floor. You've got to think, though, Haley Green has been on fire for West Virginia the last couple of points. You've got to try to get a hand up and block her before she can level the defense and just deliver another crazy kill. 23-22, Cincinnati leads it. Coach Greeny and the West Virginia team, longer discussion than usual. You know the game planning is big now at this point in the game. And this crowd starting to get into it again. Cincinnati trying to complete their second sweep of West Virginia on the season.
And Loud is right. 23-22. Lauren Dello to serve for West Virginia. They're trying to tie this one up, and the Bearcats are trying to come away with a sweep. Too strong off the back line. The noise might have affected her, and it's set point and match point for the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Brutal service error right there by West Virginia. Right when they had them. 1-point game, right when they had them. Cincinnati can win it right here.
Caitlin Leffler is going to serve. Match point. Balloons that one over. Green taps up. Set by Dello to Green. Blocked down at the net. Going to be returned by West Virginia. Green for a second opportunity. That one out of bounds off the sideline. Bearcats sweep it. 3-0 over the West Virginia Mountaineers. Fifth Third Arena roaring right now, cheering for their Bearcats. They're going to improve to 13-9 on the year. Snapping a 3-game home losing streak and their second sweep of West Virginia on the season.
And what a game. Even though it's a sweep for Cincinnati, it was not easy at all. I mean, we saw it 2 sets in a row. West Virginia crawled all the way back to a 3-point deficit. It was a tough break, though, on that last one. Just went out. Green was huge in that last set for West Virginia, but she couldn't quite finish it. And as you said, they snapped a 3-game home skid for Cincinnati. But for both of these teams, the road for the rest of the year is not easy, especially for West Virginia. After this game, they will be home against number 11 Arizona State. They will play Arizona at home as well, and then 23 ranked Utah on the road. They'll play 21st ranked BYU on the road, back home against the 18th ranked TCU Horned Frogs at home, and then against the 17th ranked Baylor Bears at home. They have to play 5 AP Top 25 opponents in their last 6 games. For Cincinnati, they will also be playing Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, BYU, Utah, Baylor, and TCU also. This is pretty much the same teams for both of these squads, but Cincinnati, big time win to get some momentum back for these rest of the games this season.
Yeah, it will not be an easy road to the end of the season for either of these teams with the Bearcats. Long as they keep piling up wins like today, it can potentially go their way. This is a very talented team, and they have an opportunity to do something special in the Big 12 this year. With that, the Bearcats with their 3-set sweep of West Virginia. That'll do it for me and Jack here on Bearcast Media. Of course, there's sports all throughout the weekend. Basketball Friday, football Saturday, and women's basketball on Sunday. So you're going to want to turn on the notifications so you get the live streams for Bearcats Media. Have a great day, Bearcats fans.
Thank you.